Hey, my name is Ian Jennings. I'm the founder of TestDriver AI. TestDriver is a computer use agent for doing quality assurance. So what that means is it's an AI that can see your screen and control the mouse and the computer just like a human. So it can click on anything that you could on any desktop, and you can use it for browser automation or desktop automation to do testing. So it integrates with GitHub, and of course it's AI-based, so it can do a lot of things that other test frameworks can't. Today, we're going to be looking at TestDriver v5, which is in beta. And v5 includes a preview of our Linux sandboxes. So let's get started. In order to install TestDriver v5, you need to run npm install TestDriver AI, but use the beta tag. The beta tag will get you the version 5 release, while if you don't use it, you'll get v4, which doesn't include the Linux sandboxes that we're looking at today. Now, after that runs, you're just going to run TestDriver AI init, and that's going to help set up your local project. Now, we want to use sandboxes, so we'll say yes, and then we need to get an API key. API keys require a subscription, but every TestDriver plan comes with $100 in credits, so you can get started for free and try it out. After that, it will cost about 5 cents per minute to use a sandbox. It comes out to about $3 an hour to use the Linux sandboxes. Now, why would you use a Linux sandbox and not just use your local computer? So you can actually use your local computer for free. If you check out our pricing plan here, running tests on your local computer is totally free. So you can have it control your desktop, you can have it control your browser, whatever you want. But a sandbox runner actually replicates the hosted production runners. And the great thing about that is you can develop your tests on the same runners that will run them later. The other good thing about sandbox runners is since TestDriver works at the operating system level, it's a computer use model, it needs to take control of the mouse and keyboard at the OS level. And so if you're running tests without using a sandbox, you actually need to keep your hands off the keyboard and mouse. And so you can't do anything else. But with sandbox runners, you're running them in a separate sandbox, so you can go do other things asynchronously. And finally, probably the biggest reason is privacy. So the local runners use, again, your own desktop, and they upload screenshots of what happens on your computer. But the sandbox runners are a new environment. They're ephemeral, and they don't contain any of your personal information. So there's no risk of uploading anything private within a sandbox runner. Again, you're going to get $100 of credits for every runner. And the sandbox runners are intended for development. So it's about testing locally, getting those extra features, and eventually upgrading to the hosted runners. Now, the hosted runners, they're a few more cents per minute, but they're high-powered VMs. So these are Windows virtual machines that include a lot of resources that make the AI fast to execute, but more importantly, it allows you to scale tests out. So you can actually run hundreds of tests at once in parallel using our hosted runners. It also includes a GitHub integration to create workflows to do that, as well as dashcam test replays, so you can actually watch video recordings of all of those actions taking place. Now, these are all-inclusive prices that include all of the AI endpoints, all of the hardware execution, and of course, the video recordings, the replays, the reporting. Everything's included in that usage price. So let's get started here. Again, we're going to start with our $100 free. I've already upgraded, and I'll copy my API key into the terminal there. And now we're all set up. You'll notice that TestDriver actually created a .environment file. It stubbed out our directory structure, and it created an example GitHub workflow. So now that init has been run, you'll see it's created a directory structure for us, a bunch of empty directories for future use. We've also got a populated TestDriver YAML here. This is to deploy to GitHub Actions when you're ready to upgrade to the hosted runners. And finally, we have an environment file, which I won't share because it contains our secret, but that is also configured to help us with our environment, especially within those Linux VMs. It says, please use the sandbox runners. So now we can run TestDriver AI, and one of those virtual machines will pop up, one of those sandbox runners. So here we go. So it's booted up, and we'll get a display of that runner. So this is our virtual machine. And I'm just going to tell the AI to click on the image of a globe. So notice that I'm telling it to click on the image of the globe and not actually to open the browser, which is actually my intention, because the AI doesn't always know the function of icons. It knows what they look like, but it doesn't always know what they do. So you can see there, it highlighted the globe, it found it, it clicked on it, and now Firefox is open. And I will just tell it to navigate to Airbnb. Before that, it validates it. So that's why we saw that. And as that happened, the test script was actually output here. So all of those commands that it came up with, at least one of them, hover image, were appended to this test file. And as I write more commands, they'll continue to be appended. So let's navigate to airbnb.com. And again, the AI will look at the screen. That white flash means a screenshot. It's likely going to click on search or enter an address. Yep, there it goes. And let's see it take action. So there you go. It clicks on search or enter an address, and then it will type airbnb.com. You can see it executing down there in our terminal. And we've navigated. Awesome. So now we can look at our test file again, and we can see that we've got airbnb.com to hover text, click, type, etc. Press enter. And maybe let's say enter Austin, Texas as a destination. So why don't we do that? Enter Austin, Texas as a destination. Now you'll notice I'm actually able to interact with this VM. I won't do it because it sometimes disturbs the focus or the screenshots, essentially. But you can also reset the state or change things within that VM. This is not just a video; it's actually interactive VNC, and you can see now the AI has determined to search for Austin, Texas, and added those steps. It'll validate that it's done that, and then finally, why don't we assert that assert the calendar picker shows up. And this is just a typical test assertion. We're going to ask the AI, what do you think? Does it look like there's a calendar on the screen? Which it says, yes, it's clearly visible. And that's it. So I can close this. Now note that, again, in terms of billing your build per minute that runner is running. And when you close it, that's it. So it's usage based on how often it's running. And so now let's run that back. We'll do TestDriver run TestDriver, and it's going to actually boot that VM again. But this time it won't think about what to do. It'll just immediately begin executing the actions within that test file. So this is a regression test. And you can notice that it's already found that icon on the bottom. It's going to click it, and it'll just begin those actions again of navigating to Airbnb. So the test passes, and you can see the AI wrote a description of the test passing. Now, to deploy this, we're simply going to commit all of this. Let's do git init. I can make a new repository within GitHub, and I'll call this TestDriver v5 test. I'll create the repo. I will copy these steps. I will add everything in addition. Oh, there was no git. Add git commit am and say upload tests. Oh, we've already done that. Great. Now, if we go back to our repository, we can see that our test is running. So TestDriver will actually begin to run this test in the cloud. Now, you'll need to go into settings here and add that same API key as a GitHub action secret. So you're going to just follow that path I just showed you. New repo secret. You would call it TestDriver API key and paste it there. Now that allows you to use the hosted runners I showed you earlier. And any runner that runs on the cloud will actually give you a dashcam replay as well, so you can see the cloud execution of your AI QA agent. So that's all for today. That's how to use the Linux runners and deploy. Hope you give it a shot. It's free to try, $100 upfront credit. My name's Ian. Thanks for checking it out.